Hi everyone. Welcome to the speed learning series of ServiceNow Third-Party Risk Management. In every session of the series, we will share with you quick insights into must-know features of third-party risk management. We have got a great topic lined up for you in this session, so let's get started. This speed learning session will discuss installing ServiceNow Third-Party Risk Management plugins, review initial setup activities post-installation, and how to perform quick validation of the application after plugin installation. All right, the agenda for this speed learning session is how to install ServiceNow TPRM, quick demo of the installation, post-installation setup and validation, resources for your offline reference, and a recap of key takeaways from the session. Moving on, as we get started, it is important to note that you must be a ServiceNow system administrator to perform the installation of ServiceNow third-party risk management plugins. Your ServiceNow system administrator is responsible for day-to-day configuration, management, and maintenance of the ServiceNow platform. Additionally, ServiceNow system administrator may be supported by a third-party risk administrator who is responsible only for managing third-party risk application, configurations, data, forms, workflows, views, and reports within the application and does not have access to modify platform-wide settings and configurations unless explicitly granted. Let's review the key steps to perform ServiceNow TPRM installation, setup, and validation. Installing TPRM and validating setup. Step number 1. Activate third-party risk management plugin. Load demo data for sample questionnaires. Activate due diligence plugin, third-party risk due diligence plugin. Activate vendor risk workspace plugin. Add authentication policy to enable secure access for external third parties. Assign TPRM roles to users and groups. Add users to groups based on their responsibilities. Convert risk tier assessments to IRQ assessments, especially applicable to upgrades. Configure TPRM properties. Enable risk concentration map. Enable your emails with third-party contacts. Import the existing data from other system. You are not charged for importing external data to third-party risk management application. When moving to ServiceNow third-party risk management application from an external system. Set up third-party contact, activate a language pack, run the quick start test to verify that TPRM still works after changes or an upgrade. All right, we are now going to review a short demo based on Yokohama release version 20. Okay, let's begin the demo. We have an instance here. We are showing the third-party risk management plugin, and we are able to install this plugin as a system administrator. So let us activate this plugin. In the interest of time, I have activated and loaded the demo data for this plugin in another instance. So here in this instance, we have activated this plugin and loaded the demo data. What you will notice is the plugin is activated along with the dependent plugins. So in this case, vendor risk management dependencies was activated as well. Likewise, we went ahead and we activated third-party risk due diligence plugin. Notice the dependency GRC approval configurator plugin was installed as well. And then the vendor risk management workspace plugin, notice the dependency geomap component was installed for risk concentration map. Now that we have activated the plugins, it's time for us to review some basic information that we need to know for setting up TPRM. So let's complete that. To begin with, notice that the third-party risk management application has the following roles installed. Some of the roles are in the third-party risk management application scope, vis-a-vis a few others in the global scope. The roles that are installed include risk assessment approver, contract negotiator, vendor risk assessment reviewer, vendor risk assessor, vendor risk administrator, and vendor risk manager. You must be wondering, why do they all begin with vendor risk as opposed to third party? The reason being, the vendor risk application has been an upgrade on top of the third-party risk management application has been an upgrade on top of the vendor risk application starting from the Vancouver release. There are a few other roles which are shared roles, and hence they are in the global scope. Several groups are installed, and you can navigate to the third-party risk management application to the module user groups under administration, and you'll be able to identify the groups that are installed that include third-party risk managers, reviewers, due diligence request assignment group. Members of this group receive an email notification when a due diligence request is made. Contract risk negotiators, TPRM compliance managers, IT managers, and privacy managers who are business users who participate in the approval process. There are several notifications which are also installed as part of activating the plugins in the third-party risk due diligence scope and the third-party risk management scope. Please review these notifications and make them your own for your specific implementation for your organization. Make the amendments as desired. Okay, moving on. As part of the assessment setup, you can also review the questionnaire templates that are installed with the plugin installation. Several templates for external assessments are installed, such as ABAC sample questionnaire, AML sample questionnaire, BCM sample questionnaires, Bribery Act 2010 sample questionnaires, business resiliency, CIS critical security controls sample questionnaires, cloud security, etc. Likewise, many tiering assessment questionnaires are also installed. So you can go to tiering setup, click on tiering assessment questionnaires, tiering questionnaire templates, and you would see inherent risk questionnaire, third-party additional due diligence questionnaire, one for onboarding, etc. Outside of these questionnaires, there is one more activity that we need to perform as part of the setup, and that is reviewing the system properties. As you navigate to the third-party risk management application under administration section, you would find system properties. Let's go through the system properties real quick. You're able to update the organization name here, which is going to be reflected in the external vendor portal. You can update the Excel cell text delimiter, which will be applied for choice and multiple selection questions, for exporting the responses, maximum Excel file size for importing an Excel, from the external third party, maximum age for reusing the responses, which is whether to determine a questionnaire is recent enough to pre-populate a new questionnaire that is based on the sample template, and to allow assessors to answer or edit questions or questionnaires for third-party contacts. So this basically allows the assessors to respond to some third-party questionnaires on behalf of the third party, or to allow updating the responses that have been provided by the third-party contacts. Now, having said that, let us move on to the next topic here. Let us see how we validate some basic information to confirm the installation was good. We can begin with validating the application menu. So just type third-party risk management within the application navigator to pull up the third-party risk management application and the modules. You should see something like this, pull up in terms of the application and the modules. Another way to validate those modules are going to be to navigating the application menu and reviewing the modules. This is another way in which you can review this and know which application modules were installed as part of the third-party risk management application versus which modules were installed as part of the due diligence plugin. Moving on, we navigate to the workspace by going to workspaces, vendor management workspace. That should launch the workspace for you. So that confirms the workspace is available. And then we can validate the vendor portal, the external facing portal, by following the instance /svdp. As an external vendor, you would be accessing on your browser, but within the same company, the easier way for you to validate post-installation would be to launch this in incognito browser mode and validate the vendor portal. Now, having validated the UI components, we can also look at validating the system logs for these respective plugins. Once these plugins are installed, you can validate the installation logs to see if there are any errors or if there are informational messages that are of any interest to you. For example, this is the third-party risk management plugin. In the third-party risk due diligence plugin, there was an error upon plugin installation. It appears that the content for ATF step did not load properly, does not seem to be a critical error and something that can be managed in terms of like moving forward with this installation. Whereas installing the vendor risk management workspace resulted in quite a few errors in this instance as some UX library components were missing. Now, in this case, the error needs to be further investigated by the system administrator and third-party risk administrator to determine if this warrants a plugin repair or if this warrants a case to be registered with the now support team so that this can be investigated further. Having reviewed the logs, we can now review the automated test framework test cases that are available for third-party risk management application and the due diligence application. So we can see a few test cases are available out of the box. These are useful when specially performing upgrades to third-party risk management application. And as you make this instance, this application your own in terms of implementation specific to your organization, we recommend that you continue to make updates to the ATF test cases to help facilitate the testing. Now, having reviewed how we validate the installation, I would like to share with you as a wrap up a few tips in terms of like reviewing the release notes and upgrades and assets from Now Create. So as you go to ServiceNow Docs, let us say you would want to review some release notes for upgrading to Yokohama, maybe from Xanadu. If you were performing this upgrade, you could navigate to combined product release notes, search for third-party risk management product, launch the release notes and review them. Additionally, you can go back here and find the store release notes. Once you go to store release notes, find the governance, risk and compliance store release notes, scroll down over here and find the third-party risk management application. As you can see, we have for the 3 plugins that we installed, we have the store release notes for each of them, which can be reviewed as well. And there are several assets available on the Now Learning, Now Create site, which you can review for the third-party risk management product. As you can see, I'm seeing several artifacts here, like product architecture, process guide, product integration. These will definitely be helpful for your initial setup and go live, and can be referenced for your implementation. So having said that, we have reviewed quite a few resources here. Let us move on to wrap up the demo. Okay, hopefully the demonstration of the TPRM installation was helpful. Additionally, we have gathered for you a few helpful resources that should aid in the installation setup and validation activities. We will drop the links to the resources alongside the community page so you can access them later. Let us review key takeaways to ensure your TPRM installation is set up for success. As part of Prepare, system administrators should handle all install, setup, and validation steps, review product release notes, review store release notes for plugin version history. Before go live, install, setup, and validate plugins in subprod instance before go live in production. Review plugin installation logs to verify installation. Load demo data to explore sample questionnaires. As a best practice, assign roles via third-party risk groups. Review application menus, workspace, and vendor portal. Before upgrades, install, setup, and validate plugin upgrades in sub-production before upgrading in production. Review plugin installation logs to verify installation. As a best practice, use Involve automated test framework test cases to support upgrades. Review product and store release notes before upgrades. We recommend you leverage product documentation and now create for guidance. If there are more errors or issues that you need help with, have your system administrator assess if a support ticket is needed. With that, let us wrap up here the speed learning session. Thank you for watching. Hope the speed learning session has provided quick insights into installation, setup, and validation of ServiceNow TPRM. Thank you.